Hi, I'm Reva with Quality Sewing and Vacuum, and I have one of my favorite feet to share with you today. It's an open toe foot. Now, you may be acquainted with an open toe foot, but now there's one for use with the digital dual feed foot system on the Destiny 2 and the Dream Machine 2. What makes this really cool is that it has all the area here that you can do decorative stitches, but it's open in front, so that way you can see where you're going and what you're working on. It has reference marks, so that way you can kind of gauge when you're getting close to a seam or a transition. Anyway, let me show you how it works. It's a snap-on foot to your digital dual feed system, and then I have just a piece of fabric and stabilizer. Usually if I'm doing something like a garment, I'm going to use a wash-away stabilizer or something like that, but this is not a garment, it's just a piece of fabric, so I have a regular tearaway under there. I have drawn a reference line, and I do that on my garments and other projects as well. This is a friction pen, so it will go away with the heat of an iron, but if your fabric isn't compatible with that, you may try a water or an air-soluble marker or a chalk marker. So let's give that a try. I'm going to touch and choose a stitch that I want, and maybe I want to do I'm going to use this honeycomb style stitch, which actually is an overcasting stitch that you normally use for edges of fabric, but it's really quite pretty if you use a decorative thread. So I'm going to just begin stitching, and I can see where I'm going. So if I had a ribbon edge or something that I wanted to meet up with, I can see exactly what is going to sew next and where. So that is a really handy way to make sure you're stitching right where you want it to be. Okay, now let's take that one step further. I have that great stitch on there, and remember I made the pass going the other direction, but now I'm going to line this up. I'm going to put my needle down into that position where it was, and now this is where that open toe foot really shines, is because then I can stitch and I can line up. I can see exactly where that previous stitch is, so that way I can make sure I'm lining it up. And of course, keeping your eyes on your stitching at all times is a good idea if you want it to stay together. So we'll see how well I did by looking at you. Hey, that looks pretty good. So isn't that cool? You can take a utilitarian stitch, turn it into a decorative stitch, and because I had the open toe, I was able to line that right up. Give it a try and have some fun.